What's going on, people? So, got some action figure pickups going on over here today. I figured it seems like a decent day to do it because I don't know what things are looking like over where you are, but over here it's a cool 30 degrees Fahrenheit, right? So I guess just under 0 Celsius or whatever. So it's already Sunday, and I don't usually go out on Sundays, but especially not today because it's like I don't want to deal with that. I'm just gonna sit in here, do this. Anyways, also I do have a video that'll be going up later tonight, right? Because today happens to be like the channel birthday or whatever. And so it's just me rambling about some things. So if you're one of those people who cares to hear what I have to say about stuff, then maybe watch that. If you're mostly just here for various content about certain things, you can skip that one. And actually, as I think about that now, I believe that Logan Jay's birthday or his wife's birthday might also be today. So I would have to say something to him later, or at least, yeah, well, I guess, yeah, to him, to her, and then he can say it to her because I don't know her. Either way, so we'll start with the things that are open, right? Mildly open. So I did a video about these already. This is a one of 5,000 hook figure. I got it out of one of those AEW mystery crates from Ringside Collectibles. So again, not bad for the price, 75 or $70. I forget exactly. But I probably will get a couple more because, the whole mystery box thing is kind of a fun thing to do once in a while, right? But I did like this one more because I'd like Jericho more. So there is that. Chaotic Kicks, what's going on, man? Hope things are good in your neck of the woods. So, been a Jericho fan for some time. So, getting this for, well, I feel like it was a decent price because sometimes those chases can be a little pricey, right? And I don't know what it would have been if I tried to just buy it right out from like eBay or something, but I feel like it would have been a price that I was not on board with. And they ship it in that nice little box too, so you may not get that if you buy from like the eBays and such. This is Usagi Yojimbo, right? I am a Ninja Turtles fan. There's that and all that stuff. And I actually just pre-ordered a set of these things, so I think I'll be getting another slight variation of this one. I forget what it is, but I don't know. It's either different or it just is the one that comes with three other of himself, right? Doing different things. I don't know. I didn't really read it. I just knew that I don't have it and that I want it. And sometimes that is enough, right? And then and that was from a Target trip at some point. These were also from a Target trip. You can kind of tell by the bag. So I did not really care a whole lot to get this Braun Breaker figure. When it first came around, I was just like, whatever. Doesn't much matter to me, right? Nothing against the guy. I just didn't really care a whole lot. But sometimes you're there, and in the heat of the moment, stuff just kind of makes sense to be bought because I they had this, which is Rick Steiner, his dad. So I was like, well, yeah, I'm gonna get that for sure, right? Because they have the Scott Steiner coming out in the next wave, which would be 105 if I remember right. So I figured, well, if I'm gonna get Rick and Scott, I may as well get Braun too, because why not complete the family, right? And so that's what happened. But this is the one that I was actually there wanting was the Dakota Kai. Never had a Dakota Kai figure, and this doesn't have the first in the line thing, so it's not her first figure, I suppose. I don't know what her other one would have been. Doesn't much matter. I saw this one, wanted this one, got that one. So now there's that. Now I just gotta probably get the new EOS guy and maybe another Bailey to complete that whole thing. And then I guess an Asuka and the Kairi Sane. I don't know what's going on with the damage control right now in this moment, but I'm guessing I'll probably need to get some more of all of them to kind of have that little action. Let's see what's going on there. I love your shirt. We're always a funny group when I watch. Yeah, I used to be into the. I mean, I'm still into the New Day, but they're not really around to be into. So it's kind of a weird situation there. You know what I'm saying? But I never had any problems with them, at least not in my opinion. And then he says, "What's up, Brody?" That's not my name. It's actually Tristan. You spelled that all wrong. I don't know what's going on with that, but better luck next time, perhaps. And then Giovi says, "Bravo." Okay. I don't know what most of that's saying, but thank you for saying it. That's very considerate of you. All right, what's going on in here? I asked that question to mostly nobody but myself. All right, what is this? What is this here? Oh, okay, so this must be from Kohl's. I don't know who all out there is, a Kohl's shopper. But at some point, I did need an MTV shirt because I was going to be doing a review, and it made sense to have an MTV shirt. I did that review, but I did it with a different shirt. It was bluish. It was the Beavis and Butthead ones and the Less Than Jake ones, which you may have heard. Actually, no, I don't think I was live just yet, but I have some sort of pop punk playlist going on in the background. I don't know if that's audible to people, but right now there's little Blink 182 playing. Did you hear that? This right here, I'm Mom's favorite. I bought this shirt because I'm going to need it once Mother's Day rolls around. So pretty straightforward on that. Set that guy over there. Let's see. I'm Italian. Sorry. You don't have to apologize for being Italian. That doesn't seem right to me. Plenty of people are Italian. It happens, man. It happens to the best of us. Don't worry about it. Let's see. Who's Little Guido? He was Italian. Remember the FBI? Full-blooded Italians? That was one of my favorite things about ECW, right? And I say that like seriously. They were really entertaining. Who else is Italian? Deonna Purrazzo, maybe? I mean, sounds like she'd be Italian. So there's that, right? Papa John? I mean, he makes pizza, so does that make him Italian too? What is this? Okay, better than the best in the world. So this is going to be a shirt from Pro Wrestling Tees, right? And this one is also from Pro Wrestling Tees. See how it's the same thing, just slightly different? Yeah, I got to do a video coming up real soon about like tank tops versus non-tank tops from them, right? Because there is a slight difference as far as the graphic goes. Long story short, it's smaller on the tank tops because there's less room to put the graphic, right? Makes sense. But it's one of those things. And I bought that. Then I realized, you know what? I only needed one of those because a while ago in a botched pack of shirts and such, I got that shirt. So now I technically have three of them. It's just one is technically botched, right? So it is what it is. What's done is done. Let's see what's going on in here, right? And make sure I'm not missing any comments there. What is this? I mean, I'm going to get to the figures too, right? I just have a bunch of bags here that I need to get dealt with. Oh, okay. I have to stop and think for a second because, like, I saw this. And wait, actually, don't I? Oh, yeah, okay. So this, right? Got a little Iowa thing up there, a bunch of Iowa stuff on the back. Forget the dude's names, like Gertie or Gerke or something like that. The logo for the Iowa Hawkeyes, right? So he's changed a little bit over the years, and that's just kind of what's going on the back there, right? So I was questioning like this for a second because I'm like, I remember buying it, but I was thinking I had already opened that. But no, the one that was opened was, I got my mom one too, and she opened hers when I gave her along with her Thunder 4s, right? Because, it matches, so I gave them to her together. Any fans of the Thunder 4s out there? Me personally, I'm not like a huge 4 guy, and so those don't really do much of anything for me. But I do like the color. I kind of hate the way they do some of these bags sometimes. Like they wrap it over itself, and so then when you think you're into it, you're really not. All right, is there something else in there? Probably just trash. All right. See, got 3 more of these little bags, and then we'll get into like the main event. You know what I'm saying? So not too long ago, they brought back some Bray Wyatt shirts, right? They had a handful of them, maybe 4, possibly 5. I don't remember exactly. But I saw this one, and I was like, that's the one I'm getting. So it's the one that I got, right? And it reminds me a lot of this Mankind shirt that I have, and this other Fiend shirt that I have. So I'll probably break this out relatively soon, perhaps, right? You got one of those Roosevelt's Fiend shirts. So maybe with that, because I haven't worn that lately, not since Halloween, right? Yeah, that sounds right. And what's in here? It seems to be a book. I don't remember what book it might be. And Death of the Venomverse. So I had this on pre-order and it finally came out. So I am still a little behind on this. There's one or two storylines before this that I have not read yet because I was reading through things, and then after something I got caught up in reading like the Venom books, right? Because I wanted to see like the other part of the story that they didn't really need to go into during the crossover. So that kind of set me back, and now I'm reading this thing about like Lady Mandarin. It's a whole Psylocke situation, and I've been on the. I started at the beginning of the current Wolverine thing, so I've been reading a lot of comics lately. I don't read anything else, not like I don't read like novels and actual like adult literature or whatever you want to call it. I just need something that like occupies my mind and entertains me, and I can count on that. Oh, I needed a new remote cover for my little Chromecast thing, so I'll just set that over there. All right, so that heck didn't even really count, but it's good because like that thing's super slippery. It's weird. It's almost like, where's that phone? Oh, it's over there. Like my last phone, the Note 10 Ultra, was kind of similar in that way. What is all this stuff in here? Like Fanatics just they sent me like a whole packet of these like DoorDash things. Like, what do they think I'm doing over here? Like this can't be right. Can't be right. But either way, so I have the S23 Ultra now. I had this for about a year because I bought it at launch and it's going pretty solid, but I like the matte finish because it's a little easier to hold. And now this was a pre-order because when CM Punk came out, they only had the Survivor Series shirts at first. So it was the same thing, just said Survivor Series at the bottom down there. Now it's just like the standard logo. So they may as well get this, Bought so many of the dude's other shirts. Why stop there? So now we're going to get into some other things. This comes from Ringside Collectibles. Now we're at the actual action figure piece, right? Now that I'm all warmed up, got myself in the zone, got to get your head in the game sometimes, people, if you're doing these live unboxings and whatnot, which is not actually true. Honestly, I just turn the camera on, get some music in the background, and just kind of ramble a bit. Same treatment as I do with my videos, but I don't do music in the background of the videos. I honestly don't like music in videos. It's just kind of annoying to me. All right, so got some gifts for the parents in here, right? So Dad, he's a big fan of Bobby Lashley, So I picked this up for him. It's supposed to be a Christmas gift, but thanks to some issues with shipping logistics, it just now arrived, right? And that was an issue that Ringside Collectibles had as a whole, not just me. And same story again, but this one is for Mom. She is a big fan of Bianca Belair. So there's that. They don't have any Ultimate Edition figures. Neither of them do. At least not yet. But now that they've got these, so I'll get those to them sooner or later. And in that same pack, that same series, was the Kurt Angle. I bought this one for me. Sometimes when you buy stuff from Ringside Collectibles, if you just buy the whole set, it's a little bit cheaper. So I figured I'll do that. But I will probably go back and get this Bianca and this, and what's his name, Bobby Lashley for me. But I will say, I do like the way these things came out. He's got the 2 gold medals in there. He's got like the crying face and like the normal smiling Kurt face, It's like a soft goods singlet that he's wearing. It's actually like a really nice figure. I never really looked at it or thought much about it until right now. So yeah, and it's not my first Kurt Angle figure. For a second I was thinking it was, but or is it? I feel like I bought one when I got some Matt Hardy figure, but it could be wrong. And the Bianca Belair, yeah, no complaints here. It kind of seems a lot like the the standard Elites that I have. No, that's a basic. The Elite, I can't quite see because there's a light in the way, right? But I do like this one. It's got like definitely more detail, but overall, I'm just saying she seems very much similar. So the Ultimate ones, they tend to just have a lot of extra stuff with them, which is cool, right? Because I do like the extra stuff. Let's see what's going on over here in this box. Get into this thing real quick. I had thought about doing like a standard video where I just like record it and then just, do that, but nah, figure out, you know what? These seem to be working out all right, so we'll just stick with it. Okay. So this is going to be Eddie Kingston. This came from Shop AEW, I think, right? So you got that. It's going to be like a chase figure, one of 3,000. So if you want this, there are several others that seemingly are still in stock over on Shop AEW or ProWrestlingTees.com. Pick it, whichever site you want to go to. They all kind of come from the same place. But it will set you back a cool $50. But I forget the match. It's like, I think it's the Blood and Guts match where he was walking out all bloody from all the stuff that happened. And so that's the shot from the actual episode, from that actual match. So I saw this originally, when they said this is going to be like a chase or whatever. And I thought, well, that would be something nice to have. So hopefully that can happen. And so also in that box was, same as I said before, the third of 3. This is like another shirt that's, what is his name? Cool Hand Ange, right? So once again, just another shirt to do my little comparison for the Tanks versus Tees thing. Overshot that just a little bit. Didn't land exactly where I wanted it to, but not a real problem. Just a minor inconvenience. All right, let's go ahead and get into this Amazon box, right? Sometimes they make these a little easy to get into. Sometimes they don't quite peel away like you want. Whatever. So let's get that out here. All right. Now this one is good. Okay. So I had ordered one of these before. If you saw my November action figures pickup thing, you saw me have this. But on that one, this here Batman guy, his head was completely detached. So that was not great. But now this one's looking fine, which is good. So I can send back the other one. Now that I have my replacement, all is well in the world. The only thing I'm waiting for at this point is the actual standalone Batman Hush from McFarlane, because they did release that, because I already had the standard Hush by himself. So now I have kind of like 2 sets, like the 2-pack and then the 2 dudes. Also, I do have the Mafex Batman Hush in blue and gray, and also in black and gray, coming next month, I think, courtesy of Big Bad Toy Store. So looking forward to that a lot, because the figures just look amazing, right? So that's really all it comes down to. I'm not like a huge Batman guy, but I do like the blue and the gray one. Kind of like the Nightfall colors. So when I saw the Mafex one, I thought, oh, well, that'd be cool to have. But that one was like crazy high on the aftermarket prices. So I figured, all right, well, forget it. I'll just get like the black and gray one. That one's still pretty cool. And then a month later or so, they released the pre-order for the blue and gray one. And me being me, I figured, oh, I guess now I'm just going to have both. All right, so this came from from Sideshow Collectibles. It said that somewhere on the side and whatnot, right? It's a Sideshow box. So the one thing that you may have noticed is that this box came with another box in it. Normally, if you just buy straight from Sideshow and you don't get the double boxing, this would have just had an address slapped on it, and that would have been the end of it, right? And everybody knows what you got. But I opted for the double box thing because I wanted it to, for sure, arrive in decent shape. Also, it was good that I did, because the day that this thing arrived, it was all kinds of raining. So had this been just sitting outside, there might have been some concern of how that was going to work out. But since I did the double boxing, had no complaints, no problems. Just figured I'll get home and I'll get it whenever I get it. Nothing to worry about here. So, all right. There we go. That, as you see, got a Spider-Man going on, $20.99. It's the black suit edition. Let's go ahead and get this plastic off of here. Does this come out easily? Yeah, it does. So the black suit thing, right? For those of you who happen to be aware of Spider-Man 2099, he does look very blue in most of his outings, right? But the suit is actually black. It's just kind of like with Venom, they give it a little blue lighting just to make it look like, you know, the light is shining on him just a little bit, right? So over time, it kind of makes it seem like he's just blue, but he's actually not. So this figure is supposed to be actually like closer to how he's supposed to look instead of that brightish blue color. So I'm not going to get too deep into, actually, I guess I can, because I can just open this thing up right there. It's got the magnet situation going on the side. See that? Yeah, pretty cool. So either way, let's bring that up just a little bit. There you go. You can kind of see it in there. You'll get a better look later if you care to. I'll probably do like an actual video on this because I am looking forward to opening this up. You might remember if you watch these things, I did send a, who was that? A Sideshow Miles Morales to the guy that did all the artwork over here, this artwork. And we did the we did a video where he was unboxing his and whatnot. So it made me want one, and so I got one, just a different figure. And now we're going to get this thing opened up. As you see there, this should be the regular Skeletor, straight from Mondo themselves, which I didn't even know who they were this time last year, but in the last 6-ish months or something, they have got me for a lot of money, like a lot. But it's fine, I guess. I don't know. Maybe it's not. Either way, keep doing it. Keep giving them money. All right. I'm trying to keep these things at least relatively far. So this right here. Let's go ahead and pull this open just a wee bit more. Go through here. So this is going to be, that side is not the side to see. This is going to be Skeletor, right, from the Mondo series. So it's going to be a 1/6 scale figure, meaning it's going to be kind of big, right? Because if you get the smaller figures, it's like 1/12 and whatnot. Like you can start to get lower, like the 1/4, 1/6, 1-to-1, right, the ratio. So the smaller the difference in numbers, the bigger the figure. That's kind of how that goes. So this one doesn't have the magnets. It's a Velcro situation going on down in there. So as you see, that's Skeletor, right? No, not too many frills and whatnot. It mostly just looks like that. It's got the little staff thing, the Havoc staff, I think it's called, and the sword. So, or Chaos staff, something like that. So it's got that going on. Pretty standard stuff, right? And I have to keep this over here for just a moment longer because somewhere in here is the timed edition that has more stuff. And I don't know if that other stuff will be visible without opening it, but just in case it is, that's why I'm going to keep that guy off on the side. This box here came from Toyco. You didn't see that perhaps? Oh, they sent it with some gummy bears. Who else sends? Some other brand of things that, like, when I order stuff, they also send me gummy bears. I mean, it's not just me. It's anybody who orders from them, right? Unfortunately, I don't eat gummy bears, right? I don't eat gelatin. I'm one of those people. So those will be here forever, at least until like my parents come around or something, and my mom will eat them, I guess. So let's get this thing opened up. I do like the way they package this. I was honestly on the fence about this whole Toyco operation because, you know, when you're spending like $120 on an action figure from a site you've never heard of, it kind of makes you wonder, like, is this even like something I should do? But either way, so the Yamaguchi Revoltech Moon Knight, it's one of those figures that kind of like the Mafex ones or whatever. It's mostly an overseas thing. So when you buy it, it's kind of like almost as like an import situation. So that's why they can be a little pricier. But it does look pretty nice. I'll turn that back around because you have like the different styles on there. It almost looks kind of like robotic in a way. But I like it. It seemed pretty cool anyway. So we'll see what happens from there. Let's go ahead and take a minute, open this up just a little bit, right? I mean, why not? Because I'm curious to see what's going on in here. If you're not, well, I mean, I get it. Maybe you don't care. That's fine, but I do. I mean, I spent some money on this. So I want to see what I'm up against here. All right. Okay, let's see. One of those double box things. So let's put that over here. I was thinking that these things would like be kind of stuck in place, but they're not. So I'll just take some of this out. But either way, that's what it's. Actually, I can't even tilt this up. So I am going to have to put the cover back on just so these hold them in place. So there you go. That's what he's looking like, right? So I'll take this out of the figure prison a little bit later. It's got some white things on the back, little plastic pieces so you can hold them in place, put them in different poses. And the cape, as you may have noticed, is kind of flat here. But if you actually take it out of the box, the cape does have like some wires in it. So that way you can just kind of adjust it however you want it to be adjusted to make your photography however you want it to be. Right? Now, let's get this going over here. This must be the timed one because it is heavy. So, let's see. That's good over there. But yeah, so I was on the fence about that, honestly, but it's one of those things like the Moon Knight. Once it's sold out, then I was like, oh man, now I can't get it. Now I want it even more, you know. But it wasn't really sold out. It was just on Big Bad Toy Store. They said the pre-orders were sold out, which was accurate. But now that it's actually in stock, it's kind of a first come, first serve at this point. So there's that. So this is going to be the Skeletor Timed Edition. What a timed edition is, if you ever go on the Mondo site and you see that, it's kind of like well, I think the Juggernaut from last week was a timed edition too. All it is like they put it up on the site for a specific amount of time, and that's your window to buy it. So it's like a pre-order, but it doesn't sell out. It's just that you can only get them for so long. And after that, that's the end of it. So sometimes they'll take the timed editions, they'll get those all sold, and then whatever stock they have extra, from like having made them, will become first come, first serve standard editions like you see over here. So let's go ahead and get this thing opened up. And see, now you look in there and you see all kinds of extra stuff, right? So that's how that goes. And it does have a nicer box. It's a little bit thicker, a little bit bulkier, right? And it just looks better. Like this one over here being the timed edition, this one being the standard. It just looks like it would be something fancy in there. Because it is. All right. I'll switch it up for just a second away from the Mondo action. Turn that around because I don't think you need to see my address. If anybody wants my address to send me something, I mean, I guess I could give it to you, but do you really want to send me something? Probably not, right? And I get it. Just what would be the point? So let's go ahead, get this opened up. I'm supposed to have some dramatic box opening music, but I forgot to do that, so you'll have to settle for whatever's on the radio right now, which would be Offspring. Any fans of the Offspring out there? George the Animal Steel, Rowdy Roddy Piper. So, where's the thing? How do these things open up? Never really. There we go. Well, actually, you know what? I don't even know if I feel like dealing with this box right now because it's kind of just being a hassle. Oh, well, it's only a hassle if you're doing it wrong. So apparently I do have to cut into this just a wee bit. So let's do that here. And now we should be able to get in here no problem. Now this comes from the Mattel.com site. It's one of their Mattel Creations figures, right? So these are going to be Ultimate Editions like the Bianca Belair and the Kurt Angle and the Bobby Lashley from moments ago. So there you go. George the Animal Steel's got the blue tongue and super hairy, right? And okay, like the foam is probably in the little accessories box because that's how they generally do these figures. And so far, those are the other ones that they've done, and I am quite sure that I have all of them, because why wouldn't I, right? And so then over here, last, definitely not least, he's actually my more favorite of the two, is Rowdy Roddy Piper. So there you go. There's him. Got his little kilt on. I don't know what accessories he comes with, right? But this is a pretty cool figure to have. So definitely like it. And his soft goods clothes are looking really good on here. So definitely a fan of this figure. And I will say, speaking on the George the Animal Steel, it looks kind of disgusting because he looks kind of disgusting. So it's accurate in that way. And I say that not as a bad thing, but it looks how you would kind of want it to look, right? So it's like the director's intent when a movie kind of looks all extra grainy, you know? It's one of those things. It's not a bad camera necessarily. It's just that's how they wanted it to be. All right, got this, and then we got two more after this, and then we are done, right? Which is good because I feel like I've been sitting here for a long time. I guess according to that clock up there, it's only been like 30 minutes. But, you know, when you're just nonstop talking for that long, it just feels like forever, you know? I think that's the line from a Stone Sour song, you know? Something about feels like forever. But either way, any Stone Sour fans out there? I saw them once with Powerman 5000 back in 2003. I didn't really know who they were. I was just going for Powerman 5000 because as a Tony Hawk fan, that seemed like a cool thing to do. And then I got really into Stone Sour. And Stone Sour was actually like the main band. I didn't even know that. I was just like, oh man, Powerman 5000 is playing tonight. Yay, gonna go to Myrtle Beach. And that's what happened. House of Blues, Myrtle Beach. I used to go to a lot of shows there. I was actually just talking about that with a guy at that worked the merch table at the Story of the Year show. Because apparently, like, the first time I saw Story of the Year was there. So this is Omega Red, and I see those little tentacles are moving, and that might seem a little weird to some people, but that's actually just by design. I don't know how this works, but they do move like some kind of way. I don't know how, but they do. So that's why they're kind of like that or whatever. Not sure how, but you're supposed to be able to move the hands around. But I don't want to like move these because, you know, it's a very cool box and I want to mess it up. But either way, so opening this up, this is going to be a Mondo 1/6 scale Omega Red. That's what Omega Red looks like. This is coming out really clear and I appreciate that. So there you go. There's him in the middle. Got the two extra heads. Some other stuff down there on the side. You know, he's got his little carbonadium build and all that good stuff. So very cool. I actually started reading the current Wolverine stuff because Omega Red was the main villain in the beginning of it. And I'm an Omega Red fan, right? And so there's the back end of it, you know. Doesn't really show you a whole lot. But this is a pretty cool box though. I really like this. The way they did the moving tentacles and stuff. If I knew how to like get these hands moving around, because like again, I just don't want to break it. But seems nice. So there's gonna be that. Move this guy over here. You can push all these to the side a little bit. All right. And so this box, and then like I said, one more after. You can't see it in the frame because it's on the floor. And actually, there were more things in this video than were in the original thumbnail, because the original thumbnail was taken in something of a rush, and I then realized afterwards that I didn't have all the stuff in the picture because some of it was on the floor behind me. Oh, this is going to be a big bad toy store pile of loot, right? So the way that works, if you want to, when you go and buy stuff from Big Bad Toy Store, you have the option to just have it all sent out individually as you make your orders, pre-orders included, whatever, or you can set it aside in this pile of loot, right? So they give you 90 days, and that's 90 days per individual item. So you can build it up as much as you want. I did one of these videos before. And whenever you're ready for it, you can just say, okay, ship all these things, or ship this thing here, ship that, whatever. So $4 for the whole shipping, which is kind of cool, because otherwise if you order all this stuff individually, ship it individually, you're paying a lot more than $4, right? So I only had 3 things in my little pile. I was waiting on some other stuff to come around, but it just didn't. So I figured, you know what? Just ship it. The last time I think it had like, it was like a 20-pound box almost, like just huge. I had to go to the FedEx place and pick it up. Ridiculous. All right, so, and oh look, there goes Homegrown Kicks, and he says, "Ooh, boxes with stuff." Yeah, man, boxes with emptiness are not my jam. This right here is going to be the one of the Mayfix Batman hushes that I was talking about a little while ago. So this is going to be in just like the standard black and gray, right? The other one, swap out the blue in place of the black, and that's what you have. So that one should be releasing next month. That's what they said anyways. But just to give you a less glary picture, that's what it's looking like, right? And this is a reissue, right? They made it however long ago that they made it, and everybody was super into it, and it does look really nice, right? But I was not paying attention to them back then. And also, this is another one of those things, kind of like SH Figure Arts and some stuff like that. It does have that sort of a foreign thing going on, right? Japanese or whatever. So you can order them straight from like China or something, and like you'll get them earlier than if you go through like a US retailer. But then sometimes you have to end up paying a little extra shipping, than you would normally pay. But overall, you will end up paying less if you do that, but you will not get it for a while once they ship it. Because like from what my friend at work says, like they ship it like through boat, so it takes like forever to get here. If you're not in a hurry and you really want to save some money, yeah, do that. But if you don't want to wait a lot, like I kind of don't want to wait a lot, just go to like Big Bad Toy Store, Entertainment Earth, one of those people, and they'll take care of you. I'll do this one last so I can get this box out of the way. What is this? What is this? Oh, this is the Spawn Throne set, right? So that's Spawn over here. That's his throne over here. So my friend that I was just talking about from work, he has this, and he showed me a picture of it. I was already wanting it, but then I saw it on Big Bad Toy Store. I'm like, you know what? I'll just put it in the pile of loot, right? So that's what I'm going to have whenever I get this out of the box. One other thing to say about that, right? For Big Bad Toy Store, if you order something, a pre-order from them, and you might notice that they don't they don't charge you right up front. They will charge you when it ships, right? So they'll send you an email like when they get it in stock, and they'll say, hey, like we have this, and like we'll be charging you soon. We just need to get all the stuff together so we can get these shipped out. So that's your window to get your address updated or make sure your card hasn't changed, all that stuff, right? Which actually, my card is about to change, so I need to do something, right? Okay, so this one comes from also, again, Big Bad Toy Store, because it's in the same box. It's just going to be a McFarlane figure. And even on the top, it says BBTS exclusive, right? Because sometimes they do that little 1 of 3,000 type of thing going on. And this, it's one of those things that I bought because it seemed like it'd be cool to have. So there you go, Batman 3 Jokers, right? So there you go, black and white accent edition. So I'm not going to go through the hassle of opening this thing up right now because I don't feel like it. It's a little cumbersome. But then down there on the bottom, okay, so this is 3,010 pieces, which is a very weird and very specific number. Maybe there's something to it. But the Batman 3 Jokers thing, right? I bought this because I saw the other 2 of the 3 Jokers, and oh, that'd be a cool set to have. So I pre-ordered that one. And then later I was like, wait a second. They didn't say that they're going to make the other 2. So now I'm just hoping that they make the other 2. And if they don't, well, then that purchase was kind of for nothing. Get this Spider-Man book out of the way for a second so I can get this one last thing opened up. Because this one, it's a little bit longer, right? So didn't want to do it up front because I had to. It would have just been a lot of stuff to mess with. But there's that, and there's that. There's that, and that. All right. Should be good. And wouldn't you know it, last time I got a box like this from Amazon, the thing took up like the whole box. This takes up like mostly none of it. See that? Like this whole box. And they took up just about half of it, which is good because I was hoping that this box wouldn't be too huge anyway. The actual figure, that is. All right. So this right here, right? This, let's get that centered kind of sort of. This is going to be Lobo, and according to that, this is 21 inches long. So I don't remember what he calls his little ship, half motorcycle thing. That's what's going on there. And then, yeah, I thought that was dog, but either way. So let's get you some other pictures on this. Actually, yeah, that is dog. It was just a little glary on my end. So, you know, it's got like the guitars and stuff, wild hair. That's what it's going to look like once I get this thing open. And here's another, yeah, here's another look at him, right? A little more cartoonish. So that's what's going to be in here. Now this is a McFarlane Amazon exclusive. So if you want it, just head on over to Amazon.com, probably also .co.uk or whatever. Type in Lobo McFarlane. It should come right up. And on the back end, I don't know why, but there's some like uncolored pieces that are showing you. Maybe it makes sense, maybe it doesn't. Space Hog. It says right on the front, Space Hog. That's the name of this thing. It's also on the side and probably a million other places on this box. So I saw this. I'm a big Lobo fan from like back when I was in 4th grade and I started collecting DC trading cards. I thought, well, that seems like that'd be cool to have, which is a thing that I say way too often. And then I bought it, which is a thing that I do way too often. So there's that. If I remember him correctly, he was a goofball in the animated series, not very formidable. Yeah, but you know, those animated series aren't always the same as the comics. And then even with the comics, it still kind of comes down to like, okay, well, who's writing it, right? Because different people will present other people certain ways, you know? So if he had a run in like, say like 95, whoever was writing it then might have been, oh yeah, let's treat him this way. Then he comes back in like 2005, and oh, let's treat him this way. So it's a whole thing, and it's just kind of like a little bit crazy to me in some ways. You know how it can be like so inconsistent, and that's why some people also have like powers that don't always stick, right? Because was it like Wonder Woman? She, like in some comics she could fly, right? But then in others she has to like ride in that jet. So there is that. Actually, 1 second while I'm thinking about it, because I will forget after this for sure. I am going to say something to Logan J because I am pretty sure it's his wife's birthday. So I'm just going to take a moment to do that. This will make for some compelling TV, I'm sure of it. Let's see. It's your wife's birthday, right? If not, well, let's see. Say happy birthday for me. Or belated. Or early. Whatever makes sense. All right, so there we go. There's that. Got that out of the way. So, any other last questions before I go heading off into clean up all these boxes and whatnot? I'll give you some time to put it up, whatever's on your mind in there. Like I said, I do have a video coming up later tonight, but it's mostly just me talking about stuff. So if you're the kind of person that cares to hear my thoughts, you know, some people like that are out there. There's very few of them. Then cool, watch that. Or at least listen to it. There's not a whole lot to see. But if you're not into that stuff, which is completely fine, I'm not going to hold it against you. Just know that when you see, if you see this thing on your timeline later, you can ignore it because it's unnecessary. But I feel like most of my thumbnails are pretty good about letting you know what's really in store for you if you were to click on it. So you shouldn't need me to tell you when something is not going to be of interest to you. You should be able to just look at it and be like, oh, I don't care about this. I'm not much for like the mysteries, except for that Grail thing. But I need to change that to something else because, you know, it's been a little while. I just wanted some mystery up front. But now that it's been like weeks, I can set that and say like, oh yeah, Ultra Boost Lady Liberty 2.0, blah, blah, blah. All right, so that was that. I don't see anything new in there in the chats, which is good because that means I can get this whole thing closed out. From me to you, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. I have to clean up a whole bunch of stuff, do a slight bit of editing on some upcoming Remember These videos, and that'll probably be my day. Then watch some Jessica Jones, I'm thinking. Yeah, maybe a nap too. That sounds awesome as well. Later, people.